Hello, Mr. Johns. I'm Bryan Gailhart here, and today is vacation day. That means you get to go by plane, by bus, by train, or by ship. But how did the pioneers travel in the 1800s, and did you know anything about the Civil War? Let's learn it today. Pioneers. How did the pioneers travel? And now first we need to learn, who were they? Take a look at that picture. There's pioneers. Many pioneers were farmers, ministers, doctors, lawyers, blacksmiths, and shop owners. Now, we get to learn about how did the pioneers travel. Take a look at that vehicle. I'm guessing it's a wagon. The road was long and dangerous. People traveled in covered wagons, pulled by horse, ox, or mules. It could take 6 months to cross the country from Missouri to Oregon. The terrain was rough with many rivers to cross. And now we get to learn about why did they move. They moved because of free or cheap land was available for homesteads. A homestead is a piece of land used for living and farming. Many wanted to improve their lives by moving west. People could make money in gold mining and the fur trade. Some people were seeking adventure. If they want to seek adventure, that means they need to bring supplies. What did they bring? Pioneers had to bring their possessions and supplies with them in the wagon. There were no supplies available when they arrived on their new lands. They were limited by the space they had in the wagons and the weight that could be pulled. And now, if you go on adventures, there will always be dangers. So, what dangers were there? The dangers were pioneers had to be careful of attacks by Native Americans. There were also accidents and disease that could leave people ill or dead. Now let's learn about the technological advance and how it impacted pioneers. Pioneer Postal Service, like USPS, FedEx, or Amazon. A lot of people are using Amazon right now. When people decided to settle on frontier land, they would probably never see their friends and family back east again. How do you think they stayed connected to them? There were no phones or internet. There was no postal service. As villages and towns developed, people could send letters by stagecoach or pony express. Number 1, the stagecoach. The stagecoach was like today's air travel between cities, except it was much slower. It was a coach pulled by horses which stopped many towns along the way. Number 2, the Pony Express. The Pony Express only lasted a year and a half, but was much quicker than the stagecoach. Riders on horseback would carry a mail pouch from station to station across the West. They would switch riders and horses at different stops. The pioneers who made the long journey out west helped expand the United States. They established villages and towns, which later grew into cities. How did the Florida become a U.S. state? Florida. In 1819, the United States gained Florida with signing of the Adams-Onis Treaty. The United States and Spain came to an agreement about the boundaries between United States and Spanish lands. Florida officially became a U.S. territory in 1821. Andrew Jackson became the first governor of the territory. In 1845, Iowa began the process of joining the United States as a free state. Florida was allowed to join as a slave state to maintain balance in Congress. It became the 27th state in March 1845. The Civil War. Now we will learn about the Civil War. Causes of the Civil War. Number 1, economy. Take a look at that picture. The people are harvesting crops for money. The North's economy was based on manufacturing. The South's economy was based on agriculture. It relied on slave labor to grow and harvest crops like cotton, tobacco, and sugar. The North had abolished slavery. It believed the South should free the slaves. The South did not like the North telling it what to do. Number 2, politics. Take a look at that picture. That is Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was elected President of the United States in 1860. He was against slavery. The South thought he would abolish slavery and ruin its economy. The South felt that the federal government was taking away its powers and its rights. Number 3 is social. Slaves did not have any rights or freedoms. In 1860, there were 4 million slaves in the southern states. This represented 1/3 of their population. The abolitionist movement in the North worked to bring attention to slavery and wanted to bring it to an end. Number 4, physical. 11 southern states left the United States. This is called secession. The rest of the country felt that the succession of states was an illegal act. Certain states in the middle, like Missouri, Kentucky, were called border states. Effect of the Civil War on Florida. During the Civil War, Florida was not ravaged as several other southern states were. Indeed, no decisive battles were fought on Florida soil. While Union forces occupied many coastal towns and forts, the interior of the state remained in confident hands. Now, let's check on the Reconstruction about Florida. Challenge in Florida during the Reconstruction period. Number 1, freedom. Slaves were free but had no support or guidance to start a new life. They had no education, money, land, or tools to get work. Number 2, plantation owners. Plantation owners lost their fee labor when slavery ended. They had no money right after the war to hire workers. Number 3, sharecropping. Sharecropping replaced the plantation system. African Americans and poor whites farmed the land. Landowners paid sharecroppers a small amount of money from the sale of crops, but first they dedicated money for rent and supplies. Number 4, black codes. The state passed laws called black codes. These prevented African Americans from voting, attending school, getting certain jobs, and owning land. Thank you so much, Mrs. Johns. Wish you have a happy new year. I'm Bryan Gailhart signing off on FLVS News. Bye!